こんにちは。アルファアドバイザーズの坂下です。今日はカーネギーメロン大学の MBA のアドミッションに来ていただきました。卒業後の年収は2700万円を超えている外資コンサルとか外資の事業会社とか外資系のテクノロジー企業などなど、卒業生も現地で就職する方も最近増えているビジネススクールですね。で、特に特筆すべきは、アルファでもこのところいつも言っている、やっぱり専門性が特に MBA の中でも取りやすい学校ということで、今日とてもプレゼンテーションを楽しみにしているんですけれど、AI の特化のコースがあったり、中でコンセントレーションとかトラックというもので、より MBA なんですけれども、その中で自分の専門性をどこにするのかを決めて、それに特化した授業も取れる。で、特にカーネギーメロンは、もう皆さんね、ご存知の方も多いと思いますけれども、もう理工系で最高峰なので、やっぱり特にコンピュータサイエンスとか、AI の分野だと、もう皆さんね、頭一つ抜けてるっていうふうに言われますし、その学校が持っている MBA の中のマシーンラーニングとか AI に特化したトラックも取ることができます。で、やはりもうカーネギーメロンだけあって、もう非常にこのキャッチアップがね、私もプレゼンテーションとか、事前にアドミッションの方のお話を聞いて思ったんですけれども、もうそこのキャッチアップが本当に素晴らしいんですよね。結構 MBA の中には、なかなかそのトラディショナルな今までのパターンからこう変わってくることができずに、なかなかテックとか金融とか、ちょっと追いつきが遅くなってしてしまっているプログラムもあるんですけども、今日はこのトラック専門性というところについても詳しくお話ししてもらおうと思います。で、あとはですね、そう、特にこれ英語とか、もっと現地に早く行って、現地に馴染みたいという方は、8週間、事前のプログラムというのがあります。で、それは、ビジネスで使う英語であったり、学校の中でプレゼンテーションとか、交渉の授業とかしていく上、で、もしくは現地で就職するときに使うような面接とか、プロフェッショナルな英語、それを磨く機会ということもそうですし、あとは、ご家族ですね。ご家族のケアもものすごく優れてます。いろんな学校ともお話しさせていただくんですけど、その中で一番じゃないかなというぐらい、お子さんだったり家族のケアとか、お子さんを例えば現地に連れてって学校に入れる、そういったところもね、非常に情報が豊富ですし、サポートも充実しているということなので、今日はね、そのあたりも詳しくお話ししてもらおうと思います。で、受験に関しては、他の学校と同様、揃えるものはレジュメとかエッセイ、最も大事な2つの書類ですね。それから推薦状。この大体コアのところは同じなんですが、テストに関しては、エグゼクティブアセスメントとか、英語に関しては、トフル、アイエルツに加えて、デュオリンゴも受け付けている学校になります。で、ある程度ね、他の学校も受けるよっていう方は、アイエルツ、アルファでは圧倒的に多いんですけれども、もうなるべくテストは短期間で受けてしまうという場合は、デュオリンゴを受けるという選択も、特にね、ファーストラウンドとか、ギリギリで短期間で準備を済ませたいという方にはいいんじゃないかなと思います。ので、結構魅力たっぷりなんですけれども、かなりね、今日プレゼンテーションも、うん、特徴が捉えられていると思うので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。で、ご質問があれば YouTube の概要欄、YouTube のコメント欄にどんどん入れていただければと思います。結構隠れ有料プログラムみたいな感じで、あまりね、特徴、どんな学校なのかなって思ってる方も多いと思うので、どんどんご質問も入れてください。で、アルファアドバイザーズ。アルファでは17年間、今まで社会人のキャリアサポート。社会人だけではなくて、就職活動もこれからのキャリアを決める、もう極めて重要な一歩ということで、就活のところもずっとサポートしてきました。で、就活も、今回お話しするような MBA も、やはり皆さんの長期的なゴール、やりたいこと、世界をこうしたい、そこに向けた手段なので、その手段、どうやったら、どの学校に行ったら、どの企業に行ったら、それが実現できるのかなっていうところから、アルファではサポートしています。で、しっかりそういうキャリアストーリーを作っていくと、その結果として、ここにあるような、皆さんね、華々しいというか、やはりトップの 業界、非常に競争が激しい業界、それからトップティアの企業にも入っていくと。で、一番上はね、ニューヨーク、アメリカで投資銀行に入ったり、そういう例もアルファでは最近、毎年複数、ニューヨークとか、で、金融にね、入っている方もいますし、あとは、投資銀行とかね、やはり多いですね。それから、転職。今日は MBA の話なんですけど、すでに専門性があるよという方は、PE ファンドの転職で今大人気、行きたい方多いですし、それからアセマネ系もね、転職する方結構出てますね。それから商社。商社も、商社の転職、三菱商事さん第二新卒が始まりましたけれども、またこれもちょっと別でやっていきたいと思います。それから MBA に関しては、アメリカ、あとはシンガポールですかね。最近の時代のトレンドから見ても、やはりアメリカで、いつも言ってるテックとか金融、しっかりこの時代の中で、職が得られる専門性をつけていこうということで、おすすめスクールもね、今までいくつか紹介していると思います。それからシンガポール。シンガポールはまたアメリカとは違うんですけれど、もう自分はシンガポールでこれやりたいとかね。あとはそのアジアのヘッドクォーターがあったりとか、最近だとヘッジファンドとか、アクティビストとかやりたいという方はシンガポールに行く方なんかもいますね。はい。あとは奨学金とか資金調達のところもご相談がとても多いので、ぜひ総合的に、何でも聞いていただければと思います。で、アルファでは MBA だけではなくて、その後のキャリアまでしっかりサポートしてます。ですので、やはりその転職、MBA の後の転職においても、この学校はこういうところに入っている傾向があるねとか、なかなかね、そのコンサルも採用がね、最近は減ってしまっているので、結構コンサルスクールって言われるところは、就職が厳しくなってたりしますよね。なので、アルファに来た方は、なかなかそういう、せっかくね、自己投資をするのであれば、将来につながる学校にぜひ行ってほしいなと思ってます。MBA と一口に言っても、本当にね、今いろんな学校がありますし、かつ、やはり MBA に行けば、もうなんとかなるという時代は結構終わりを迎えていて、さっき言ったコンサルとか、テックでもジュニアのポジションがどんどん減っていたりしますので、もう早めに自分の実力が上がる、専門性がつく、就職がしっかりとできる、将来につながる学校に行って、早めに経営層とか専門職のポジションにつく、これが今の勝ちパターンだと思いますので、ぜひ早めに動きましょう。アルファは代表の入住さんが、商社シカゴ大学のビジネススクール、ゴールドマンサックスを経て、今まで17年間皆さんをサポートしてきました。今本当に年代も、職業も学校も様々な方がご相談いただいてます。で、今日は先ほど、そのご家族とかお子さんのケアとかサポートもとても充実しているというお話をしたんですけれど、若手の方ももちろんですし、本当に30代とかミドルの方もお子さんを連れて海外に行くっていう方もいるので、ぜひね、そういう方もどんどん挑戦、そういう方こそむしろね、もう日本にいてもね、なかなか先がないですので、挑戦してほしいなと思っています。私はヘルスケアのキャリアからコロンビア大学の教育大学院に行きまして、今はアルファで皆さんのサポートをしております。はい、ということで、皆さんね、この方 PE に成功した PE 転職うまくいったね、方なんですけども、PE に行ったり、あとはやはりその自分の長期ゴールを考える。もうこれは MBA の合格において必須のところなので、しっかり長期ゴールを考える。で、エッセイを書く。その実現に向けて MBA であったり、転職であったり、どんどんたくさんの方がチャレンジして成功してますので、早くアルファに来て皆さんも成功をつかんでいただければなと思います。アルファは個別のサポートをしていますので、個別に相談したいなとか、いや、ちょっとカーネギーメロン興味あるなとか、学校選びから、もうぜひこの失敗しない学校選びをしてほしいと思ってますので、学校選びから相談したいなという方は、こちらのボックスにご相談を入れていただければと思います。あと、カーネギーメロンもそうなんですが、社費留学の方も、今、社費で MBA に行くための選抜の用意をしたいとか、もうすでに社費 MBA で準備をしたい。そういった方も来ているので、留学は社費の方も、私費の方も、いつでもお越しください。はい。では、ここからはアドビションの方に学校の説明をね、どんどんしていただこうと思います。ご質問があれば、どんどんご質問とかコメントとか、日本語で大丈夫ですので、YouTube 欄のコメント欄に入れていただければと思います。 So Ted, thank you very much for your time today. We are very happy to have you here today. And could you start your presentation?
Sure. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation about Carnegie Mellon's Tepper School of Business. We're excited that you're thinking about an MBA. An MBA can be a life-changing experience, especially if you do it in another country. It's an experience where you learn and grow, change, develop leadership skills, and it's really a great adventure. It's not an easy task, but it's one that can be worthwhile, not only personally, but also professionally. So I'm excited to share some information about the Tepper School of Business today. Again, my name is Tad Brinkerhoff. I'm the Assistant Dean for Master's Programs at Tepper, so I oversee the 6 master's programs that we have, including our full-time MBA program. I earned my MBA many years ago. I worked in corporate America for a few years, including I worked for a Japanese company, Fujijuko, which manufactures Subaru automobiles. And so I enjoyed my business career, but I was fortunate to get into education about 20 years ago. And I've been working with MBA master students, including many international students from all over the world. So I'm excited that you're interested in our program. I have I lived in Japan for 4 years, and I also lived in South America for 2 years. So I understand the challenges of moving overseas. And so hopefully what we share with you today will give you comfort and how it's possible and how we at Carnegie Mellon work with you to make sure the experience is a happy one. All right. As we were talking earlier with Emi-san before, the world is changing dramatically, and the thing that's driving the change is really data and artificial intelligence, or AI as we call it. And this is a really good time for Carnegie Mellon because that is in our DNA. Data and tech and analytics and AI have been part of our DNA for many, many years. So I'm excited to talk to you more about how you can benefit from that. Our mantra here at the Tepper School is the intelligent future. We realized that being data informed is not enough. It also has to be human driven. So we work really hard to balance the technology, the data, with decisions that are going to help human beings. And so that's why we have a very balanced approach to very quantitative data science focused on the human element, which is the leadership. As we look at future skills that are needed, obviously strategic thinking, problem solving are at the top of the list, but also employees are asking for skills using AI tools, technology, and innovation. And that's where I think Tepper can excel. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the quantitative aspect, but also the leadership portion that balances out the experience here. So we offer, we have
Ted,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. And I
Yep.
think we can't see your screen or your presentation right now.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Here we go. Sorry about it. All right. Can you see it now?
Yeah, no, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Let me go back. That's the intelligent future. All right. Are we good? Okay. So we have 6 different master's programs. Today I'm going to talk about our STEM MBA. I'm really going to focus on the full-time MBA because that's the program that most international students would be focused on. It's on-site here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a 2-year program, essentially 2 years with a summer internship in the middle. The internship is optional, and we offer a full range of career services, much like Emmy was talking about with Alpha Advisors. We're also very focused on your career development. And we also have a very strong coaching culture here at Tepper. So you'll be assigned 4 different coaches that will work with you on a one-to-one basis when you're here. You'll have an academic coach that will work with you on selecting the classes that are appropriate for your career goals. You'll have a leadership coach that will work with you on different leadership skills and help you grow in that area. You'll have a communications coach that will work with you on presentations and any type of communications activities that you'll be involved with. And then you'll have a career coach as well that will work with you on your career goals. And then we also have a business English coach or a professor that will work with you, and I'll explain a little bit about our business English program in a few minutes. So that's what I'm going to focus on. We also do have an online hybrid program that is mostly online, but the students come from all over the country. And it's very similar. Students in the full-time can take online classes if they would like, if that fits their lifestyle. So for example, we might have students who are sponsored by their companies and they want to travel during the summer, but they also want to take a class online. That's also a possibility. So we have some flexibility in there because both programs, same curriculum, same professors, same number of credits. All right. So let's talk about the academics. This is the foundational core classes. So we have a very robust analytics, business fundamentals, and leadership and communications. You'll see the analytics. We do ask you to have calculus before you come to the program. We also will have you do a series of math courses before you come. So make sure that you're up to speed with your quantitative skills. So you take probability and statistics, optimization, and statistical decision making. And then we have a series of business fundamental classes, everything from accounting to finance to marketing. And then you'll also take a series of leadership and communications. This is the human-driven aspect, managing teams, networks, management presentations. And then you'll work with ALC, stands for Accelerate Leadership Center. And you'll do a series of assessments. And then you'll work personally one-on-one with the coach on areas of growth that you want to focus on as a future leader in business. We also offer different options for concentrations and tracks. Now, a concentration, we have 14 different concentrations, everything from AI in business to healthcare analytics to sustainability. And these courses, to get a concentration in these areas, requires 3 different courses in that area. And you are required to have at least 1 concentration. If you want to go further in depth into a different area, we have a track. Now, a track is 6 courses plus a capstone project in that particular area. And the tracks are each guided by a faculty member. You have to apply to get into the tracks. And it's a very, very communal experience. You'll work with your track faculty member, and you'll also work with each other, your cohort, in the track. So we've got analytics, energy and sustainability, entrepreneurship, product innovation, and technology and product management. And then we also have dual degrees. So if you're an engineer or you're interested in law, you can get 2 degrees, MBA in engineering or MBA in law, etc., or MBA in software engineering. You would need to be admitted to both those programs, but we have several students every year that choose to do dual degrees. All right. So as you can imagine, Carnegie Mellon has a long history of focus on technology. Carnegie Mellon had the first computer science department in the United States. Generally, we're ranked number 1 or number 2 in technology and computer science, machine learning. We had the first robotics curriculum in the United States. And so we've been very involved and been at the forefront of AI. So we not only have experts within the business school, we have AI experts across campus. And many of these classes are outside of Tepper. So if you want to take, we encourage our students to take classes outside of Tepper. So some of these classes will be offered by Tepper, some classes will be offered by computer science. As long as you have the prerequisites for the classes, we encourage you to take classes outside of the business school. and across campus. So you'll see we have courses in our AI concentration, including ethics in AI, which is a very important topic, business language analytics, AI applications in business, end-to-end business analytics, machine learning for business, and machine learning fundamentals. So if AI is something that you're interested in, Carnegie Mellon is a great place. Between us and MIT, we seem to be the leaders in this area. So this is Carnegie Mellon would be a really good option if that's something you're interested in. All right. One other thing that we're very focused on is experiential learning. We not only want you to learn in the classroom, we want you to apply that learning to solve business problems. And so every student is required to do a capstone project. And essentially, you'll be working with a company to solve some type of problem. And here's an example of a capstone that our entrepreneurship students worked on. They worked with a company called Leafacent, which is working to provide lighting for farming, alternative farming. And so they use technology and AI to come up with better ways to provide lighting for wall farming, wall agriculture, as you can see, and also trying to reduce the carbon footprint. So this gives you a great idea of a project that the students will work on across the spectrum of industries. In addition to the experiential learning, we realize that leadership really makes a difference in how we move the world forward. And I think we've all seen that. So with the Accelerate Leadership Center, you'll work with a coach. You'll develop a concrete plan based on assessments that you've done. And then we have a series of leadership workshops and programs so that you can customize your leadership journey here at the Tepper School. We also, for those people who are interested in entrepreneurship, we have a very large center for entrepreneurship called the Short Center. We have a class called the AI Venture Studios, where students are encouraged to use AI to develop businesses. We had a number of our MBA students participate in that class. It's a class that's offered across campus. So students will be in teams with computer science engineers, with biologists, with people involved in the arts, and you'll all be using AI to build a business. And I went to the demo day, the demonstration day, which is where the students presented their projects. And I was so impressed with how much work they'd done and how fast AI had helped them develop their business ideas. We had over 50 investors there that were ready to listen and possibly invest in these businesses that had been developed over the last 3 months. And that's only been able to be possible through artificial intelligence. And that's where I think Carnegie Mellon is excelling, is not only the entrepreneurship space, but using AI to accelerate the speed of business development. All right, let's talk about the outcome. So you invest in yourself as a business professional. What are the outcomes that you can expect by coming to Tepper and getting your MBA? Here's just some random numbers. Our MCC, our Master's Career Center, sponsor over 270 events with different companies, many of them technology focused or consulting related. 94% of our students receive job offers 3 months after graduation. We've been ranked number 2 for return on investment. Average compensation between base salary and bonus is around 192. We have been ranked number 9 for career support by Financial Times out of London. Our career coaches will conduct over 4,000 one-on-one coaching sessions. And we have over 100 students who participate in case competitions annually. So broad range of opportunities to participate in career events, coaching, as well as case competitions. We send students all over the country and all over the world in case competitions, and we do very well in the outcome. These are where our students go. This doesn't change much, but a bulk of our students go into consulting and another chunk go into technology. The third most popular is financial services, and then everything from energy to consumer to biopharma, etc. These were our top employers last year. As you can see, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, the technology companies. Capital One is focused on fintech. And then we have a number of top rank consulting companies like McKinsey, Deloitte, Bain, BCG. If you do some research, you'll see that there are more Carnegie Mellon alumni at Google and at Microsoft than any other university. So we really do have a strong relationship with those companies. So lots of opportunities. Now, if you're interested in a different company, if you're going to recruit, we have a deep pool of alumni, and we'll work with you one-on-one to develop that plan. So don't be discouraged if you're not interested in tech or consulting. We have students. Had a student I went out to dinner with last week that works for Eli Lilly. He's a biotechnologist, and so we have contacts in many, many companies across the country as well as the world. I will say you talked about Duolingo a little bit. Duolingo was actually started here at Carnegie Mellon. The headquarters are about 3 blocks from campus. So I drive by their headquarters multiple times a week. So that's an example of technology company that was developed here that is now changing the world in so many ways. This gives you an idea. This is a map of Pittsburgh. You can see we're surrounded by 3 rivers. These 2 rivers here merge and merge into one river. We have a number of offices headquartered here, like Google, Philips, Amazon has an office here. Meta has an office here. IBM, we have banking. Apple has an office here. Duolingo, I said, is headquartered here, and Caterpillar has a manufacturing facility here. So really robust business community. You can see where Carnegie Mellon is, where the star is, and all of these companies are within about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's really a robust opportunity for our students to engage with companies that are well known and doing some amazing things. All right, let's talk about the culture of Tepper and Pittsburgh. When you come here, you're going to become part of the Pittsburgh and the Tepper communities. So we want you to be familiar with our environment here. One thing we started several years ago is our business English and cultural immersion, because we wanted to help our international students transition to life in the United States, especially with the family. And part of this is personal for me because, like I said, I lived in Japan for 4 years. Our first child was born in Japan. So I understand what it's like to adjust to a new healthcare system, a new educational system. So we've developed this business English and cultural immersion program. It's an 8-week program prior to coming, and it's focused, part of it is online and part of it is face-to-face. And you will do activities focused on expanding your business English vocabulary. You will do presentations on business topics. You'll read business articles. You'll engage with our alumni. Our alumni will come to class 2 or 3 times a week, and they will coach you on the business English. We have an English professional who will help you with your pronunciation. And I think it will make a really big difference in the students. And we've seen it make a big difference in the way students perform in the classroom once they start. We also are cognizant of the impact of families. When you bring a family with you, spouse or children, they also need to adjust and they need to be taken care of. So we have a cultural immersion piece that works with the families, that helps with driver's license and healthcare and pharmacy and transportation and cell phone, apartment hunting, all those things that impact your happiness while you're here at the school. And then this program doesn't end when school starts. This program is ongoing. You'll have access to Dr. Kristen Williams, our Becky director. There are also activities for spouses. There's English classes for spouses. There's also activities like book clubs and other activities that the spouses do together. So you really become part of a community. As you can see, we did over 40 activities last year for students and spouse partners. So we really care about your adjustment, and we want you to enjoy your time here at Pittsburgh and feel like you're part of a community a global community, really, because there'll be people from all over the world involved in the Business English and Cultural Immersion program. Also, we're not a big program. We admit maybe between 150 and 200 students a year. So you get to know each other really, really well. And as such, when students leave here, they become very active in global alumni chapters. We have a very strong Japanese group. We have a website in Japanese that we can give you access to. So if you would prefer to read everything in Japanese, we can share that with you as well. And we have over 100,000 Carnegie Mellon alumni all over the world. I will say I've worked in several universities, and I've been very impressed with the alumni support that we get from the alumni support for our students. We had about 25, 30 students this last May that went to 4 countries in Asia. They did a trek, and they were supported by alumni in each of those countries, including Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand. And that, I think that's just testament of how engaged our alumni are in supporting our students. Pittsburgh, we're not a big city, but we are a city, and we have everything that a big city would need. Here's a picture of the 3 rivers. As you can see, we have more bridges than Venice, Italy. We have over 400 bridges. So it's a very picturesque city. It's been ranked as the best place to live. It's very affordable compared to a New York or a San Francisco. And so I think you have access to all the big city amenities, but also you can get outside the city in 15, 20 minutes, and you could be in a green space with nature, hiking trails, the river. The one thing I'm not from Pittsburgh, but one thing I really like about Pittsburgh is Washington, D.C. is 4 hours away. Columbus, Ohio is 3 hours away. New York City is 6 hours away. So you have access. For us, that's not very far. And so you have access to really important cities, not only for fun, but also for business. This gives you an idea of some of the organizations that you can join. We have a TWIB, which is Tepper Women in Business. So we have a very active women's organization. They host a conference every year. They attend workshops. They do community service together, and they're aligned with several national organizations like Forte and Prospanica and Grace Hopper, which are large US-based business organizations for women. And I will say many of our clubs are led by women. Over close to 50% of our clubs are led by the women in the program. So it's just one example of an affinity group that you could join and participate in. All right, let's give you some details and reminders about upcoming application. We have some guidance on how to apply for the program. We have a video that you can watch, and when you watch that about completing your application, you can earn an application fee waiver. So there won't be any application fee after you watch that video. Application requirements include a resume, as mentioned earlier, transcripts, test score. We accept the GMAT, GRE, and the EA. We do also have an option for test waivers. So if you have a strong quantitative background, I would encourage you to apply for the test waiver. And if you've demonstrated strong enough skills in the quantitative area, you will be exempt from taking one of the test scores. We do require an English language proficiency exam. We accept the TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo, as was mentioned earlier. We will ask you to write an essay about you, sharing your story with us. We ask you to do a video essay talking about your career goals. We will ask for professional recommendation from someone who knows you well. Application fee, but if you watch the video, that will be waived. And then we will invite you for an interview with an admissions officer. And I will tell you, if I can help you with any of these things, if you want me to take a quick look at your essays or your resume, or we can do a practice session for the interview, please let me know. I like to do that to make sure people feel comfortable during the process And if sometimes they have doubts, like, is this essay appropriate? Am I hitting the mark? I'm happy to give some feedback on that. So hopefully Emmy has my email address, or I can share that at the end, and I'm happy to respond to those requests. There's some deadlines. We have different rounds. We have 3 rounds for international students. The first round will be September 30th. Our application will open in mid-August. So you have about a month and a half in round 1. If that timing doesn't work for you, you can submit in round 2, and that is due January 8th. And then the final deadline for international students would be March 3rd. And the reason we have an earlier deadline is just to process visas. It takes a little bit of time to process the visa. So the last time to apply would be on March 3rd. You will have an answer by mid-April, and then we'll work on processing the visa. This is a photo of our students. We do an orientation every year. We take a picture on these steps in the building, and we take a picture at graduation on the same steps. And it's so fun to reflect on when students come in and how they're getting to know each other, and then when they leave, the relationships and the growth that they've made. It's an exciting journey, and I think it can really be transformational. So we welcome you to apply to the Tepper School, and hopefully you'll consider us. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or our admissions staff. We're happy to do that. Again, we're very personalized. We want to make sure you're successful. That's the reason we exist, is for your success. And that's this presentation.
Thank you. And so could you keep your screen shared? So
Sure.
we will move to Q&A session. And so before we move to questions from the audience, there are several questions. I'd like to ask a couple of questions from myself.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for very informative and impressive presentation. I find it interesting that business school like Tepper emphasize analytics and mathematics early in the program. Could you share what kind of backgrounds Japanese students typically bring to the MBA?
So our Japanese students generally are very strong quantitatively. Usually we're looking for strong quantitative skills. So calculus, any type of advanced math classes, linear algebra is helpful. We generally look for some type of coding. If it does not required, but if you have coding experience, especially in Python, that's helpful as well. You will get that when you're here. We will teach you Python, but it's helpful if you've had some experience with some type of coding, because the classes are pretty rigorous in that area. Statistics, we will do a lot of statistics. If you have any machine learning experience, that's also helpful, but not required. We don't have any hard requirements other than the calculus requirement. But if you've not had any experience with Python, I would encourage students to maybe go to a LinkedIn course or a Coursera course or even YouTube, just to become more familiar with Python, because you will do a lot with coding and Python while you're in the program.
Oh, so what's behind such kind of requirement? Because I think other business school do not require not require, but not so much emphasis on such Python.
Yeah. I mean, I think our curriculum is heavy quantitative because of our history. So we were started over 100 years ago by Andrew Carnegie, who was he was a businessman in steel. He manufactured steel. In fact, his company US Steel just is merging with Nippon Steel. And I think he emphasized technology and how it impacted the progress of business. So that's been in our foundation for a very, very long time, using data to inform decisions. And so we're very data driven in our approach. Management science was developed here at Carnegie Mellon. And so that's just part of our DNA. We use a very analytical approach to decision making. And so I think other schools offer that. I think we just emphasize that a little more. You will use calculus in some of your classes. If you don't have it, we do have a prep program that will give that to you. But if you come here, maybe you're not an engineer, you don't have a quantitative background, I think there's things you can do before, and also we will give you some homework to do before you come that will get you ready for the curriculum.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, such kind of approach is very aligned with the recent the AI era.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so from regarding Japanese students, recently many Japanese candidates aim to work in the United States after graduation. So could you tell us about what percentage of international students secure job in the United States?
Well, overall, it depends on the year, but generally we're between 85 and 90% of all our students will secure some type of employment within 3 to 6 months of graduation. So if we do our Japanese students, there's a mix of sponsored students that are going back, and then there's those who want to recruit in the United States. And we'll work with both sets of students. So the thing to do is, even before the program starts, you'll be assigned a career coach. That is someone who's worked in your area. So we have people in finance, professionals from finance world, from the operations world, from technology, from consulting. These are all career coaches that understand what it's like to work in the corporate setting, and they will work with you to create an individualized plan, a recruiting plan. There'll be a series of career events, coffee chats, interactions with alumni. Our students that are interested in investment banking, they'll go to New York almost every weekend and they'll meet with investment bankers. So the thing to do is, as soon as you're admitted to the program and you've decided you're coming here, we will have you start meeting with your career coach even before the program starts, because we want you to be ready to recruit as soon as the program starts, because companies will start coming on campus the first week of school. So you need to have your interview skills, your resume up to date, your stories that you tell in the interview. That needs to all be ready before school starts, so that you can start meeting with companies as soon as the program begins. And the key will be to secure that internship, because many companies use the internship program to hire their full time. So we'll focus very, very heavily on the internship. About 60% of the students will go back to their internship to work full time. Not always, but it's a great experience to get some maybe US, maybe a Google or a McKinsey on your resume, and that leads you to a full-time job at the end of the second year.
Yeah, thank you. So in that regard, it seems many graduates join top US company from Tepper MBA. So could you share how the program itself facilitates the access to alumni reference or networking opportunities?
Yeah,
Or
that's
or student so voluntarily reach out to the alumni and such kind of opportunities.
Yeah, there's many ways to do that. That networking piece is really important. I'll give you just some examples. We do a program called Lunch and Learn with an Alumni. So we'll have prominent alumni that will come back to campus, and we will have them have lunch with the alumni. Will have maybe lunch with 5 to 10 students, and that's a way that the students can connect with alumni. We also facilitate coffee chats. So for example, the local Google office will come on campus and say, we're going to do coffee chats. We have speakers that will come to class, or we'll do special presentations with the companies that will come, and you'll have a chance to meet with them. one-on-one. We have case competitions. So we have a number of companies that will sponsor a case competition, and the company leadership will come watch the students participate. Sometimes they will make offers or invite people to interview based on how the student performs in the case competition. Students can do individual outreach. We'll do some training on using LinkedIn. Students could do individual outreach and ask for some time to meet with alums if they have a very, very narrow search. Your career coach can introduce you to alumni that they've worked with based on your interests. I was meeting with a student yesterday who is interested in working in biotechnology, and I connected him with Daniel, who graduated a year ago and is now working for Eli Lilly. So that happens all the time, and we can do that because we are not a large program. We're smaller compared to other programs, and we're very personal. So I will know the names of almost all the students. So will the coaches. You will not be a number here. You'll be an individual that we can connect you with the best resources. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's impressive to hear that alumni frequently return to campus and doing such a strong community networking, lunch, coffee chat. Thank you.
Yep.
So let's move to questions from audience. So the first question will be about the why tipper. So she or he is curious about what draws student to Carnegie Mellon's MBA. Could you share some key reasons?
That's a good question. Yeah, I normally, when I talk to incoming students, I always ask them, why did you choose Carnegie Mellon? And their answers vary, but generally I hear students who will say, I realized how important analytics, data, technology is, and I wanted to strengthen my skills in that area. So maybe they didn't have a strong background in analytics, but they realized how important it is and they wanted to improve that. So that's what I hear frequently. We also have a number of students that come because of our leadership development program through the Accelerate Leadership Center. We have a program right now called the Board Fellows Program, where students can serve on the board of directors for a local nonprofit. So they get exposure to leaders in business that might be on the board of directors for, like, the Pittsburgh Symphony. So they get that connection, and they also do a project for the nonprofit. So that's an example of one of the leadership development activities or opportunities the students have. The other thing I hear is people are attracted by Pittsburgh. They're attracted by the affordability. And it's a big city, it's a safe city, but it's not overwhelming, and it's not too expensive. And we're very diverse. Years ago, the steel mills here attracted people from all over the world. So we have a very multicultural environment. So those are really the things I hear: is the small community, the focus on technology, the leadership, personalized coaching, and then the affordability and safety of the city.
Thank you. So next question is about the financial support. Could you tell us about scholarships or loan available for international students?
Sure. So the scholarships are based on how competitive your application is. We do offer generous scholarship options, and that is, you can negotiate those scholarships. So at the time of admission, you'll be awarded a scholarship. You're welcome to negotiate those as well, and we'll work as best as we can to give you as much scholarship dollars as possible. The loans, we don't facilitate the loans, but we can provide options. We can provide suggestions of different companies that offer loans. So we work with Empower, we work with Common Bond, and several others. And again, we're not recommending any of those companies, but we're just letting students be aware of loans that exist that they can take advantage of.
Thank you. So, the next question will be, so while consulting and technology are two popular career outcome in Tepper, so is there any change, is there any change the career trend because of the recent layoff trends in consulting and big tech industry?
Yeah. I will say the last year was harder on tech and in consulting. We saw because of the economy, um, there was a softening of the tech and consulting. I don't think that's going away though. I think the thing that makes a Tepper student attractive to a consulting company is a mixture between the analytic and the data approach with the human-centered leadership approach. And so it kind of is a natural fit for consulting companies because they want people who've got the analytical skills, the problem-solving skills, but also can communicate that advice. Technology is a natural fit for us just because of who we are at Carnegie Mellon and the kind of students we attract. But that has been that space has been more challenging this last year than it has been in other years. I will say technology has really or not technology, entrepreneurship has really taken off with the Schwartz Center and with the AI emphasis in business development, business creation. And I would say we're seeing more and more students go the entrepreneurial route. Up sometimes up to 15 to 20% of our students will go the entrepreneurial route. And then we also obviously have the students who go into the leadership development programs with companies like Eli Lilly, et cetera, Apple. Those are hired, students are hired as well. So I think the tech consulting is still going to be strong. It might not be 45% of the class, but it might be 40%, 25% in tech. So it's slight changes, but not anything major.
Yeah, thank you. So in that regard, the career outcome and industry preference, I've noticed that. Actually we did the webinar with Carnegie Mellon Financial Engineering Master's Program the about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So yeah, in that program, graduate in hedge fund and then asset management, there are lots of an outline in hedge fund and asset management, and sort of hot area and very growing industry. And given the MBA Tepper's curriculum strengths, does it also prepare student well for those fields?
Yeah, I think it does. Now the our MSCF in computational finance, is that the
Mhm.
program you're talking about?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that program is really focused on preparing individual contributors.
Mhm.
So they gain some of the same skills, but they're really focused on individual contributions, where the MBA is more focused on gaining those skills, but from the lens of a manager or a leader.
Mhm.
So this program, like I said, will give you the skills. That's why it's longer than the MSCF program.
Mhm.
But it also focuses on the leadership aspect. So you'll learn the technical skills, but you'll combine that with leadership, management, thinking like a manager, and decision making. So at maybe a higher level than an MSCF student would have.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, so MBA is more focused management, leadership, compared to very individual focus skill in
Yep.
MSc program.
Right.
Thank you. Um, so this is the last question. Will will Tepper focus shift to finance or like for MBA investment bank or private equity fund? Because some school like Stanford Kellogg's are or seem to shifting towards finance more than consulting and tech industry recently?
I wouldn't say, I mean, we already have a pretty decent presence in finance and IB. So I don't know that we're going to shift the focus. I think we'll continue. That will still be an area, a strong area. I don't think it will overtake tech and consulting anytime soon. So that's finance and IB is usually number 3. I don't know that we might see a little bit of shift between consulting and technology, and I think finance will still be a strong number 3 or number 2. We have a lot of alums in well-positioned places. We're not in New York, so we don't have the advantage of like a Columbia or an NYU, but still I think we have a niche. There's a large bank that's headquartered here in Pittsburgh, BNY Mellon, which is a Pittsburgh-based bank. And we do a lot of work with them, and they hire a lot of our students, as well as many who go to New York to work in consulting. So I wouldn't say we're shifting. I think we might strengthen our finance approach, but it'll remain a core area for us for the time being.
Thank you. So this is a last question. So recently, when we see the recruiting process, it is very important not only hard skill or MBA or hard skill or analytical skill, but also interpersonal and communication skill, especially in management role. So how do you evaluate student interpersonal skill or communication skill or the leadership potential during the evaluation process in MBA?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a couple of things we look at. Obviously, there's the essay. We see how they write. We watch the video. We have them do a video essay. So we get a chance to review that video, and then they do an in-person interview. Well, when I say in-person, it could be via Zoom, but it's a live interview. And so that's the first. We have 3 sets of 3 data points right there. And then if they're admitted into the program, we have them do a series of assessments with our leadership center. And so we also can see from a very analytical standpoint their strengths and areas for improvement. And then the coach will work with them individually on what activities they want to take a part of that will strengthen their skills in those focus areas. So for the application piece, we have 3 or 4 pieces of data. Once the student comes here, then we start all over with the assessment and the individualized plan. And that's a journey that is lifelong, right? But we want to give them a good, strong foundation of building good leadership, personal skills. We also have many of our students are club leaders. We have a robust club program. And so they also get training in leading clubs and leading their fellow students. So we'll do a series of training for all our club leaders in creating an agenda or creating a strategy or communicating in difficult situations. So they'll have individual training on leading clubs so they can put into practice the things that they're learning in the classroom.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much for those insights and answers. And that's all for the Q&A session. To wrap up this session, could you please share some closing remarks with us?
Yeah, I think fit is very, very important when selecting a school. So maybe Carnegie Mellon will be a good fit, maybe it won't be, but and that's okay. We want you to use the resources like Alpha Advisors in helping you find the program that is the best fit for you. Don't be afraid to ask questions and identify the things that are important to you, and then find a school that fits. So if you're looking for a big program or you want to live in a big city, there's some really good options there. You also want to get a sense for the culture of the school and the program, because schools are a lot like companies. They have different personalities, they have different value systems. And so I really encourage you to find one that really aligns with your values and your interests. I will say the MBA experience can be life-changing in so many ways. Changed my life. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy preparing. It wasn't easy going through, but it was certainly worth the effort. And it's really impacted me, not only professionally, but also personally, relationships that I made that continue throughout today. So please, if you feel like the MBA is something for you, don't let things get in your way. Use the resources that you've been given, reach out to the schools. We're here to help you be successful. So let us know the best way to assist you on this journey that will really make a big difference in your career and your life.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very important thing to during their career journey. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
you're welcome. Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming to our channel. はい。ということで、皆さん今日はカーネギーメロンのね、内容をたっぷりとお話しいただきました。やはりテックとかにもね、非常に強くって、そのアナリティカルなスキルもとても鍛えられるプログラムだと思いますので、学校選びね、今アドミッションの方も本当に大事だよっておっしゃってたと思います。ロケーションとか自分が、行きたい職業であったり、就きたいロールであったりによって、学校選びもね、だいぶ変わってきますので、学校選び、それからそもそもどこに向かうのかっていう長期ゴールからしっかりと作っていただきたいと思っています。個別のご相談、MBA のサポートしてほしいとかですね、あとは長期ゴールからまずは相談したいという方もぜひ、まずはこちらのチャットにご相談、今の現状、質問など入れていただければと思います。アドミッションの方にもおつなぎしたりできますし、あとは今年の8月ですね、もう結構定員がいっぱいになってきているんですけれど、キャンパスビジットに行きますので、カーネギーメロンも金融工学とかもあるのでね、行きたい方もいるかなと思うので、ビジットしようかなと思ってますし、合格率もかなり変わるキャンパスビジットになっているので、ぜひ皆さん参加していただければと思います。So that, thank you very much for a fantastic presentation and Q&A session.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.